Okay, this is going to be the video turn report for Pit Boss 15 for the um, Russian Civ. This is Krill. I'm just going to give an overview quickly of what is turn that off. Okay, just going to give an overview. I've actually played part of this turn already. I actually killed a spearman with an archer. It was basically a 50-50 battle. Could have lost it. The way the battles have been going recently, yeah, that's probably not the best thing to do, but I did it anyway. The reason being that the spear was on this corn tile, and I can't really afford to lose that corn tile. I've got no workers in the area to hook it up, so I would basically growth would be delayed, and that's a 6-yield tile, so I just don't want to lose that. I had 2 chariots that I'd be able to attack with if the archer lost, because the spear almost certainly would have been very damaged after that. If it hadn't been, then I was basically screwed. But whatever. I won. The archer is now a 7 XP, so I only need 3 XP to turn that archer into the HE unit. It needs to heal up though. It'll heal up to about 2 strength, 66 HP, so it'll need to heal for 2 more turns. So it'll heal on turn 69 and 70, so I can use it again on 71. This barb warrior pillaged a sheep pasture. Nothing much I could... Theoretically speaking, there was something I could do to stop that from happening, but it was very risky. I basically would have had this chariot here could have been over here last turn and I could have attacked, but iffy basically. I can attack this turn now at 78%, but I'm not going to do that because there's just no reason to. If I want to, I can move this chariot over here to cover the worker, which can also cottage. Then there'll only be 2 turns left to cottage on that tile. And the barb warrior can then basically do 2 things. It can move here onto the plains tile, and the chariot will destroy it. The chariot has 95% odds without attacking over the river. Over the river it doesn't matter, considering I can take I've still got to promote the chariot. Or the warrior can move onto the jungle, in which case I just move the chariot over into the city and attack. It's not a problem. I've also got this shock chariot over here that I can move to the city already to help defend, so the warrior's not a problem. There's no other barbs that I can see at the moment. I've traded maps with Thoth, and you can see his cities. He's captured the Barb city. He's only got 4 cities improved, grand total of 13 pop points in those 4 and 1 over here. By comparison, I've got, we've got 16 on those, 17, 18, 19. So I'm actually, I have significantly more population than most people, due to being imperialistic and getting cities out earlier. But the main reason why Thoth's city positioning is interesting is because there's 2 locations he can settle on, or I can settle on, that are a bit annoying to be truth be told, to deal with. I don't think he'll settle either of these cities, but if he does settle them, then I'm gonna have to do something about it, just because I just don't want a city on here. Cities in position to culturally threaten are Reishadonga, which is, I'm hoping to be my heroic epic city. So I want to keep the city safe. I don't want to have to use it as a front city and have to build cultural buildings and stuff in there. I just want it building nothing but military. So I'm trying to keep an eye on Thoth right now. There's some cities, some potential city sites up here that are pretty reasonable. I could try and plant a city here that would be quite well protected from Startha and be so far back from Novice here that it's not too bad. But it's adjacent to a hill. I don't ever like setting cities adjacent to hills so someone can walk along the hills to attack, but because of the river it's not so bad. But it's also a bit isolated because there's nothing else that can support it. So I'd need units garrisoned in the city, and I'll also need fast movers, horse archers, like kept further north, like say here or on the Ivory, to help cover that city. Whereas if I don't have that city, I can keep them further down south and actually cover this area as well. And this is a city that I definitely do want to. City 5's, I really want a city on that tile. I wanted to get the gems. I would have liked to get the gems. I would have liked to have gotten the spices, but I just want the dyes, because calendar to me is a very important tech, because I have sugar, banana, and incense, so I've got multiple happiness resources. So calendar to me is high on the research priority list, so getting more calendar resources is just generally a good thing and fits into researching calendar. Right now I actually have enough gold saved up that I can research maths at 100%, 7 turns, and I'll still have a little bit of gold left at the end. But to me, maths actually isn't that good a tech to research, because it gives the ability to build forts. I don't care for that at the moment. I just don't want to use forts. I don't have the spare worker turns to build forts. Aqueducts and hanging gardens. Hanging gardens is good if you've got stone, because whilst the aqueducts are 100 hammers and just not that useful at this stage of the game, the hanging gardens giving 1 pop point in every city. If you've got stone, you need 5 cities, and it's basically break even on cost, and the great engineer points are worthwhile. But I don't have stone. I've only got 5 cities. I then need 10 cities for it to really make sense to build, and I'm not going to get that many cities, so I just don't care about having that tech now. There's a few other options. Well, actually no, just to say, if I need maths before I can get calendar, if I do want to do a calendar beeline. But if I want to do a calendar beeline, I basically want to have enough gold saved that I can get mathematics and then calendar without stopping to save more gold. Otherwise, I'm basically getting maths, getting no real bonus from it, and then having to wait just to get calendar. So if I save the gold for longer, I've got the flexibility to research something like horseback riding or ironworking. Something that can help me fight a war, defend myself, or take advantage of an opportunity. Horseback riding is a much better tech for me to get now, if I'm going to use it, because I already have archery stables. Well, I'm aggressive, so I get double production on those, so they only cost 30 hammers. It's pretty cheap. And I also need horseback riding to enable war elephants at construction. They're a bit nerfed here, only 7 strength, but I've got ivory and it's still a 7 strength unit. It's still useful. I still beat a lot of things. I mean, there's no real reason for me to get iron working other than I can potentially see up to 2. If I see, for example, 2 iron resources and can work them, it's yay, I've got an extra 8 hammers coming in per turn, and I can cut down this jungle banana and irrigate it, but that's just not enough to justify spending 300 beakers on a tech. To go for monarchy, I basically have to spend so many beakers on just getting, say, mysticism, polytheism, priesthood. I mean, these techs don't do anything anymore. Every single religion's gone. I've raised the Buddhist holy city. Oracle's gone to novice. Henge's gone to novice. Barracks are better than monuments simply because they're the same cost but give me experience. So this whole tech line's just worthless to me. Wouldn't necessarily always be worthless. If it was earlier in the game and I could get a religion from it, I'd consider it. But the nearest religions, theology or code of laws, I'm not getting those anytime soon. I could research up to literature, but again, I need polytheism for that if I want to get the heroic epic down, which, if I just have one city constantly building military units, is actually it's plus 100% production to military units. It's really good. But I'm not really going to build any of these wonders right now. I'm not going to build Parthenon. I'm not going to build. I'd love to build statues. I think it's just a fun wonder. You just shove it in the city that you're going to build the HE in, and add a GG or two to it, and hey, have fun using strong units. Shredded on Payer, I've not got gold, even though it is accessible over here. But yeah, so it's like this whole tech path's not likely to happen anytime soon. One that I am considering though, I am considering going alphabet alphabet next rather than anything else. Basically, alphabet will give me the ability to get open borders. So I will basically get +1 commerce per city if I can get open borders with somebody, and I can build research, which will just means that I can speed up my next tech if I need to. I probably won't be able to build research because I'll have to build more military units. This game just seems to be about building military units and settlers, but the commerce would be helpful. I mean, I'd normally just say, screw it, I'll get horseback riding. The only problem with going with horseback riding is it doesn't do anything for my research ability, and it's not necessarily the best in the game. I mean, just looking at the demographics, Rival Best is almost certainly novice because he's got so much culture coming out through Henge, Oracle, and a religion. I think he'll have well over 20, probably 25 culture per turn that's just from those. So I don't trust this fully. But yeah, as you can see, that's novice all the way up here, and everyone else is pretty low. But still, cities are expensive. I mean, this city cost me 3.5 gold a turn, and that's not taking into account the increased number of cities cost that it does. It increases that for every other city, and so I want to keep on expanding. So I know my economy's gonna, like, my beaker generation's gonna drop as I have to pay for all these new cities. So I do need to consider how I consider what I have to do so I don't crash my economy. I can't tech anything else. So that's why I'm thinking calendar is the best, simply because I've got the happiness, more population due to the extra happiness. Working just a few cottages just helps enormously, and the mausoleum of mausoleums isn't a bad wonder to have, really. And Maths does open construction for catapults and war elephants with horseback riding. And I'm aggressive, but Thoth isn't. Commodore's not either. The minimap's useless sometimes. Thoth's not. Novice is the only one who is, and he's built too many wonders. And he's built too many wonders. He's just further behind in expansion, so he's got other things to deal with rather than thinking about how he's going to attack me. So it's like I don't really need horseback riding and horse archers for defense. I need them to attack people, and Novice just has too many spears and stuff. He can just build spears. That's all he will pretty much build are spears and the occasional axe. So he's just not worth it trying to attack. I mean, if I could capture the henge, it'd be nice, but that's like wishful thinking. And Thoth, there's no, so long as he doesn't plant these cities here, there's nothing really from it that I can really gain from it. I mean, I can't capture. It's like I can't really capture and integrate his cities into my empire. I just would have to take him out completely, and that's not happening. When you look at his power, he's actually building units. Commodore's doing nothing, but I've wrecked Commodore's game to the extent that he's just going to play a farmer's gambit now and try to stay under the radar so no one screws with him. There's not really anything I'd want to do with him, because it's like, if I were to start capturing these cities, to go after Commodore and capture these cities and settle around here. Thoth can just put one stack of horse archers here and he can defend both sides of his empire with it, whereas I've got to build twice as many units to defend both these fronts. So I don't want to get into don't want to annoy Thoth and have to get into a militarize against him. And that's what I'll end up doing if I attack Commodore. So really, for the immediate future, I'm just looking at getting cities, finding ways to afford them, and settle down here. I mean, I'm probably going to try and sell for this gold. I want to settle a city here for the fish, whale, and corn, but there's a reasonable chance that I just settle something else. I mean, over here just for the gold instead. Over here, down here to the south, there's not much food, so there's actually very few decent city sites. I mean, Plains Hill Sheep doesn't do anything. This is all plains next to this lake, so there's nothing that's really that I can irrigate until I get civil service. There's only like these two tiles. Is there a ping button on here? Yeah. There's like these two tiles are actually worth settling a city on because there's two food resources, but there's just not much else. I mean, there's just so many hills and so many peaks in this area that it's not easy to dot map for. So it's like minimal cities, try and grow them as large as possible, means I want a higher happy cap again, suggests calendar's a good idea. Just get a granary in the city and make sure there's enough workers to improve the tiles and grow it up. There's so many hills that just settling a city here, actually, I think which is the best one. That's got 3, 4 grass hills, that one's only got 1, 2 with ironwork. Yeah, that's the best one. That city with popped borders makes 2 from the city tile, 5 with that, 6, 7 with that, goes down to 3 because of that. You mind that, it's down to, it's just not great. It's like the ideal city location is actually something like, actually settle there. You get 1, 2, 3, 4 on a Plains Hill. So it's just awkward. I mean, the ideal place might actually be on that peak, because then you get 5 and a 6 and that, but it's a peak, you can't settle there. So it's just a pain. So really, I'm still thinking about how to deal with all this land down here, because it's just weird. Because not only is it how to settle for efficient cities and productive cities, it's also I want a front city against Thoth, and there's not. I mean, the best front city I'm gonna find is something like this tile here, or even this one here if I can get culture out to stop Commodore from using the sheep. That'd be a really nice city there actually. But there's no way I get that. It's just not happening. I mean, well, I say that. There is. I'd have to literally whip the settler out of here tomorrow big right now and just walk down there. But I'm not going to get anything. I'm not going to get that city. It's just not happening. Because even if I did, Thoth would actually be really pissed off and try and raise it. So then I've got to try and defend, and it's just not worth the hassle. It's not worth spending that many hammers trying to defend such a city site. But he'll settle in that area, and he might just settle this site here, and then another city here with the sheep, trying to get that ivory, because does he have any ivory? Yeah, he's got ivory, so he doesn't care so much about that. But if he just goes for those 2 cities, it's like, what do I have left? It's like, because there's all these hills, he can just walk over the hills and just come straight up. walk. He can just try and invade and walk along these hills, and you'll always have defensive bonus. There's nothing I can ever do to stop it. Or I just have to have more units and deal with the worse odds. But I do need to scout out all of this here. I'm hoping that I can get maps off Pindicator, but I've got to meet him first, and he's not going to be the... Well, I say he's not going to be the easiest. I mean, just taking this chariot and walking down wouldn't be too bad, but I can't abandon that city. And I can't walk out with a warrior, because the warrior will die to spears and archers. Okay, that was a probably quite lengthy overview, but whatever. But yeah, okay, let's go back to this turn. The spear can attack here tomorrow big. Almost certainly going to walk in and try and attack here tomorrow big. He'll move here. I'll log in on 69. I'll be here on 70. He'll be here. So end of 70, he'll attack. He'll attack after I build the unit. I spend that turn's production on turn 70. So I'll move there, and the archer will be one turn complete. He'll move there. The archer will be completed. So, and look, there's already an archer there anyway. That's going to be a shock archer if I want it to be. That would mean... I'm not entirely sure, but I think I'd have odds with that shock archer against that spear if he moved out onto that corn. If the spear attacked in the city, the shock archer just should win. Should have odds anyway on defense. If it lost, even with odds, well, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do if you lose when you've got odds on defense. So basically, I don't need this chariot in the city to defend, so I can use him to deal with this warrior. I want to move him here because that's going to cut off the warriors. The warrior can move anywhere onto these two tiles, and I'll kill it. If I move the archer to here, the warrior might either suicide into the chariot, might suicide into the archer, or it might move north. If it moves north onto the plains on there, I can move this chariot to here. Having already moved it to here, I can attack any of those. So basically, if that warrior then moves anywhere other than onto that windmill and out of the land, which it almost certainly won't do, it should die. So what I do is, well, just to confirm, there are no enemy units around here. There's no barbs or anything. So I'm going to just move that chariot to here onto the worker. I'm going to move this chariot onto this forest. And I move the archer down. The worker is going to cottage because I'm waiting to get it back onto that sheep to improve it. I've already spent 4 workers to hook up the copper this turn anyway, so I've got very few workers to deal with. If we got the reset and look at the city, you see that there's technically 8 improved tiles already, but one of them is used by Hitmaru Big, and it's still growing okay because I've stolen a farm from Rajadonga. So it's still growing. Okay, I'm just losing a bidder. I'm just losing 2 hammers a turn compared to working the sheep. I'm going to slave this library because I want to turn tech back on. And because I'm going to slave that library, I want to slave it for 1 pot for the full 30 hammers, which means I need 60 hammers in the library. That's going to take 5 turns worth of production to get over 60 hammers. However, if I spend 1 turn working the lumber mill, I'll get there in 4 turns. 2 turns worth of growth puts that to 35 over 3, save 16, 19, 2, then it'll have to work that because there's no other tile to work. Means it'll make 5. So that's at 29, needing 34, so it'd need... so it'd grow after. So it'd be 3 turns worth of growth. So I'll just end up working that tile, even though there's nothing else. Doesn't make any real difference for the immediate future for the next 10 turns, so it's fine. Um, so this city's fairly safe, but with having 4 workers on this tile, workers 1, 2, 3 and 4, I actually can quite easily move one of them down here to road on this tile and then cancel and then finish that cottage. It's not a problem. And after that warrior is dead, I can move worker 6 onto the sheep to improve it. Here tomorrow big, just finish the archer. If I wanted to, I could build into the axe and slave that, but I don't. I don't really want to. I want that archer because there's just I just want to use that archer as a sentry. I want to use that new archer as a sentry up here near Thoth, because I'm going to move up as a sentry, and then when I get ready to plant the city, I can just move it straight in as a city defender. So always need more units. Raise your dongers. I'm irrigating this sugar. That's the other tile that I want to move most of my workers to. I'm going to move 2 up to probably pre-chop this forest, and then I'll move them onto the sugar, because it's being irrigated on 68, irrigated on 69 when I move 2 there onto chop that, so on 70 it'll be finished. With the copper hooked, it makes 15 hammers a turn. I move, like, I can afford to run the food deficient this turn on 68, next turn on 69, on turn 70 that sugar will be improved again. I just move from one farm to another, and that's it. It's fine. It's not too bad at 15 hammers a turn. It's actually it's like just short of doing 4-turn settler. Yeah, a 4-turn settler. So I'm gonna. Like, I can build anything I want in this city. I'm not gonna build a granary just yet, though. The reason I'm not going to build the granary just yet is until I'm ready to grow this city, the granary doesn't actually do anything. So whilst a unit might not necessarily do anything, it does give me a little bit more safety, especially when well, I might be the highest soldier points by a fair bit, but I'm dealing with barbs. The barbs are not easy. I still need to defend my borders and focus on having extra units to expand, so... And with barb spears, I do need axes. Archers don't cut it, because all you need is just one bit of bad luck and you're screwed. So I do need axes, so I do actually need to build an axe or 2. 1, 2, 3, 45, 46. Overflow out 11. So yeah, I can easily get 2 axes in 5 turns. There'll be enough overflow out of that to actually get a 4-turn settler. I'm not going to grow this city either until I get the pig back, but the problem with that is I want to get a great scientist out. I can't get a great scientist out until I've got the library and got the reset. I'm going to slave got the reset to get the library, and that means I've got to regrow it anyway. I also need to work the cottages from in got the reset so that I can afford to expand, so that I can research at a decent pace. So basically got the reset just needs this pig for quite a while. It's like I don't want to give up the horse tile. It's a 5 yield tile, and there's no other cities that can work that. So really, I just need to keep the pig in this city. So, I mean, the pig enables me to work 2 scientists. I'll move off the farm. I'm only using that because I want to grow now. I can move that onto the sheep. So if you think of it, pig and sheep and 2 scientists is 4 pop. I can go up to size 8, so that's just another 4 cottages. But I want to keep on 3 cottages. I mean, there's too much that I want to do with this city. So again, I actually need to look at getting calendar so I can raise the happy cap. I actually also I also should consider moving City 5. If I moved it just one tile west onto this Plains Forest, I can actually take over the horse, and that means that it's easier for Got the Reset to just make the Great Scientist and work more cottages. And if it doesn't have to use the horse, well, if I just use one farm and the sheep, then that's enough food and a lot of grassland cottages. That's still enough food for the two scientists, so I could then give the pig over. So just that small change in city location affects it. I mean, I'd normally want to plant City 5, well, this would actually be City 6 on this tile, but because Thoth's actually settled Flub and Flat, well, captured Flat really, in such a way that he's going to have a lot of he's going to be putting a lot of culture into this tile anyway. This tile's in a ring for him, so we should hold that. So we're really fighting over that tile. That horse tile's the only tile we're actually fighting over. Because the rest I'm not going to hold. There's the tile north of the dies, but who cares about that? It's a plains tile. I mean, so really, by moving to that tile, I'd be giving up those two, and potentially those three. And those two grass hills and that horse are quite important if I want this city to be a decent production city. Because Plains Hills aren't that great. Sure, I can take off the horse, but I only want to do that temporarily, not for the entire game. So yeah, it's like how this city where I choose to plant for the die is going to affect what I do with Got the Reset, and how that affects Raja Donga. To be honest, the map's not frustrating. It's just not frustrating. It's just intriguing about how best to do it, because everyone's so close together. Got to decide how aggressive can I be to get as much as I can without making people want to just declare on me and try and wipe me off the face of the map. So I feel like pushing that one tile over is I think staying on that tile is still the best choice. And pushing culture, because there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's still 8 forests that I can use to chop out cultural buildings, but I haven't really got any cultural buildings. I've got libraries and barracks and monuments. Well, not technically monuments yet, but there's not much I can get from here. Actually, if I had marble, I'd chop mausoleum there, without a doubt, because that'd give me plenty of culture. If I actually went for aesthetics, a statue of Zeus would actually be a reasonable thing just to chop there quickly if I didn't think I could get it in the HE city, but it's still it's still better than the HE city, because I do still need culture there, so even the culture's not wasted. There's no other real wonders that I can get, because I don't have any of the doublers. I mean, gold I could get without too much difficulty, but even then, well, no, I could do it. But actually planting that city, I'm doing that, chopping all those hammers in to get a wonder to just push culture. It's not so much an act of war, because I don't necessarily agree with that concept in Civ games, but it's an aggressive action, and I'm basically telling Thoth that if he wants to control this area culturally, he's either got to do the same thing or he's got to raise that city, and I don't want to make him try and raise that city. because it's like I'm doing so much, putting in so much culture. It's being aggressive against flub and flat. Um, Actually, yeah, Henge is gone. So's Oracle. Temple of Artemis is always there. Mids is like the holy grail, but is so expensive. I mean, the Great Wall does nothing. It's 150 hammers. I've got no stone, and it's only 2 cultures. So who cares? Yeah, Great Lighthouse on an all lands map. That's really going to work. Pyramids would be wonderful, but that's, well, painting a bullseye on my back, and it's also in a front city. Thoth would just want to capture it and keep it for himself. So there's nothing that I mean. A religion would be nice to have, just so I could build a monastery or drama for a theatre. But that's just a problem for another day. Aram collusion is just build the archer. Thoth's got horses, but it's not pastured. I'm not sure if he's even got animal husbandry. I keep an eye on that every turn, but I don't think I need to build spears just yet, so I'll probably finish this archer. An overflow onto an axe. Let's see, if I move 2 up here to cottage, to chop that, and then do that. The other 2, I can move 1 straight onto the sheep, the other one there to do something. 69. 70, he does something and he roads. 71, he can road, and then I move him up straight away. But I've only got 4, so it's like if I move 2 over here, I want 1 to road and 1 to do something. Then they're both pastured, both move back to finish that. If I move 1, he just moves straight up there and pastures, and I move the other one down to finish this cottage. Point is, do I need that extra cottage? Well, I need to work that lumber mill for 1 turn. At least. I can work it for a 2nd turn anyway. That's not a big loss. And then walk on. Then I want to kind of move him onto the sheep, because the sheep can be done as soon as moment 69. He can be on there. So pasture 70, 1 to finish on 3. So 68, 69. Slave on 72. And grow back at the end of 72 onto 73. So I don't even need that cottage anytime soon. So I don't even need to send 1 down here. I can just send 2 up to deal with this sheep, and then improve, say, Baron again. And then Aram Collusion's got quite a lot of whip unhappiness already. It's not too much actually. Be gone in another 18 turns. I just stacked whip unhappiness here just from slaving units and the granary. But yeah, just finished the axeman after this archer. From the sugar, I can move 1 to mine this hill here, 1 to mine this hill here, and the other 1 to potentially finish this chop and then road this pig. And then I'll still have, how many? 5 workers in this area to just improve a bit of Say Baron again and road down to City 6 or the gold site. Or I can just move 1 of them back over down here and over. But 6 workers is actually plenty for this many cities. People often say that you need 2 workers per city. That might be true if you don't know how to prioritise worker movement and worker management and integrate it into how you manage cities. But you can actually get away with less than 1 worker per city at sometimes. Some openings you can have 1 worker in 3 cities and it's still fine, because you don't mind growing an extra pop and working a forest for 2 turns before you then slave that population for another worker. Here, I'm not likely to need to build another worker unless something drastic happens, like I get a tile pillaged down here where I don't have workers. Or I decide to settle City 5 and I want all of these forests chopped immediately, in which case, yeah, I'll need 2 extra workers just to chop these forests quicker. But I've gone over ARAM collusion. Now it's just going to grow. I'm going to get the sheep improved. That'll make it grow even faster. It's already got a granary. There's always a cottage here. I don't mind working that. Yes, it's on the front line, but I actually quite value the commerce in this game. Improve these two hills. The sheep can get moved over later on, but there's enough there for this city. I can always I want to cottage this grassland maybe as well. Say Baron again. I chopped into the workboat. 1 turn working the fish, 3 turns working the plains forest. Once that's workboat's finished, immediately hook up the fish. I'll then have a choice of what to do to get the barracks to pop border or get the granary to help speed growth. I actually don't care too much about the barracks right now. Marvis has a choice. He can settle on the ivory, or he can settle. I think he can only settle on the ivory. I think that's the only legit. Let's see, where's his city? His city's next to this sheep, isn't it? So he can settle on the ivory, or he can settle. Yeah, that's the only city he can settle there in this area. And he probably won't do that, to be honest, because that's a very dangerous option. He's choosing to go for a 2-city front if he does that, and I can very easily fork by planting units on by moving fast movers onto the banana. So I don't think he's going to settle there. And if he doesn't settle there, I don't need culture because he can't settle anywhere else. He can settle like down here, on this hill, but that's not a problem. So I'm actually considering going straight for a barracks after this. Immediately grow to size 2. Just have 1 chop in. Yeah, 1 chop in. Well, probably that one actually. Be at 6. Immediately hook that up. So moment 68, 69. Hook it on 70. So 71 to grow end of turn 72, and I'll have 3 hammers. I can have 3 hammers into a granary already. And then yeah, just slave it. I can either grow it to size 3 because the sheep's coming on and use the sheep in say Baron again, and grow it to size 3. Yeah, grow it to size 3 quickly, and then get the granary slaved so the food box is half full at size 2, because I'll slave it from 3 to size 2. It might seem a little bit more inefficient, and to be totally honest, it probably is. But I only need. But I need to spend time getting 10 hammers. And if I work the plains forest, I have to spend 3 turns doing it anyway, so I'll be at 15 food out of 22. So I'd whip it. I'd whip the granary, and I'd then be at 21 out of 22, so I'd only save 6 food into the granary. So it's not really. So getting the granary at size 2 is actually not that likely. I'd actually have to chop 3 forests immediately, and maybe not slave, and use a few tricks. But But it's a lot of a hassle. It takes up a lot of the workers, and I want them to do other things. So I'll just grow it to size 3 most likely, and then whip the granary, and then just grow very quickly up to size 4. And to be totally honest, by that point, I might have already researched mathematics. So I might only need 1 chop just to get the barracks out. Or I might decide I don't even want the barrack and I just go straight for a library. Because with the amount of... Because this is actually one of the points that I don't necessarily have to get the Great Scientist from Got the Reset. I could theoretically get it from here. Theoretically. If I use the library to pop borders. Because there's enough food here definitely to grow quickly. I don't want to work cottages, or rather I don't care if I work cottages here. I only need to use the fish, which is dedicated to this city anyway. I can use the sheep to grow it quicker, and then give the sheep back to ARAM collusion. It's like, how quickly could I get the library? Well, a 2-pop slave is 50 hammers, so that means I only need to find 40, or a single chop is 20. 20 hammers in this city is trivial. Just with I can make 2 a turn, and the sheep and that. That's 6 if I mine this hill. And I'm going to spend some turns just building the library after that. So it's like I could do this. I could get the great scientist out 17 turns after finishing the library. So I'd be looking at, I hope, something along the lines of 97, because I want to get the library done by. I'd want to get the library done by turn 80. Whereas if I go back to got the reset to get a great scientist out of here, 4 turns is 72, 73. I'd then need to regrow because I also need to work the cottages anyway. So I've got to really regrow to size 8. Although it takes 10 turns for that unhappiness to wear off, so I might not even get to size 8. I'd have to go to size 7 and quite a full food box, and then just nudge up, basically, just as the unhappiness wore off. I might get it a few turns quicker, but to be totally honest, you can, unless you drastically need to get the tech immediately because you need the abilities the tech gives you. If you save gold for the additional 5 turns and then turn tech on 5 turns later after you've got the academy, you come out the same at the end once you've spent all that gold on deficient research. So unless you're in a tech race for something like a lib, or to get a religion, or you need to get construction or engineering or something for a military unit, it doesn't really matter too much. So I might in fact just say try and get a library in, say Baron again, and get the great scientist from there. Focus on cottages because that will also improve long-term tech rate. Even if scientists would give me immediate beakers, I mean they're going to be river cottages. It's not much difference. It's 2 commas versus 3 beakers, but you get the food as well. Means I can work the hill. Means I can keep City 5 pushed out. So yeah, I think I'll probably go for that. So save. You can go sleep. You can stay in the city. Oh yeah, and another chariot. There's very few units in this area. There's 2 warriors, a chariot, and an archer. Well, seem to be another archer. I actually need to go and make contact with Pindicator and with Scooter. I've got a warrior all the way over here, but I would rather go and just pillage stuff for more gold. So I'm not likely to make contact, and it's also that worker's got to get all the way. Can't even go through Sodoa because I've not got open borders, so I've got to go all the way round and come around the top. I mean, it might even be quicker just to go. I mean, go up here and make contact with the Scooter first. So I might actually consider sending out one of these chariots to go and try and make Pindicator. To here. Go down. Moving to the front. I've already got access over here. I've got a chariot in there. 2 chariots in this area. He's building an archer. He's building an axe anyway. No barbs can spawn over here anyway anymore because Thothamy have basically, I've unfogged all of this. He unfogs the other side. So like this is, and then Novice is unfogging this hill here and north as well. So it's like the barbs can't even occur in this area. I only need the military units to defend against other people. And Thoth, as said, he's not hooked up his horses, so he can't move in with fast movers. So and he's not aggressive, so actually I don't think he's going to come attack me from this area anyway. So yeah, I think I'm going to just move this chariot all the way over here and go scout with him. Or I'll scout with that one, because that one, I'm going to scout with him actually, because he's 1 turn further out. I can get there 1 turn sooner. And I might come across something that gets him to the heroic epic unit. But I've also got other units, don't forget, because he's at 7. Okay, that one's only at 3. He's at 6. That one's at 7. That archer's at 7, so it's not too bad. Let me just go through, take photographs, screenshots from the screen. One last time to go through all of these. just to check them. Yeah, that's pretty much everything for this turn. Took a lot longer than I thought it would. Oh, and I'm saving gold whilst researching ironworking. I don't know why. That's actually a bad idea, to be honest, because ironworking is the last tech that I really need. Not that one. I really ought to save gold into horseback riding. Horse archers are just better than swords. For defense, cover more land and all that. Allow you to reposition and take advantage of opportunities a lot faster. And they flank catapults, so they last. They're just useful for longer. So yeah, I should save gold into horseback riding. It's just that I do need to actually get iron working for chopping jungle. But out of the two, you still get horseback riding first. Especially, well, you get horseback riding first if you want. If you were to get, you'd go for horseback riding before ironworking if you were to go and get economic techs first. If you were to research horseback riding or ironworking first now, it's like you'd still probably go for horseback riding, but it doesn't make any. But you still don't want to. Anyway, that's the turn. Only Thoth to still play. What's he got? Not got as many resources hooked. Or roaded, rather. You should already chop the spices, because that used to be forested. The wheat's irrigated, but not. He's not got a road on it. Sheep pastured, not got a road on it. You can never trust diplomacy screens for how well developed somebody is, because people just don't road because they don't need to. Commodore can't even see half of his empire. Already raised one city, so that he's being forced to expand into other directions. What's he got? Wheat, pig, cow, clam, copper, and only 4 cities. Oh well, not much. He's got a route on his copper at least. Pigs, huts. Horse needs a route though. I need to keep an eye on him. I will actually need to get a spear for here tomorrow big. Because of the geography, he can't easily attack here tomorrow big. There's just too much in the way. I mean, even if he roaded and come from the fog of war, he moves onto the banana. Then he moves onto the forest. So I don't fear the attack from fast movers. I more fear the attack from axes, because they can just, well, an axe spear stack, because they can sit on the forest axes. That'd still just kill. But yeah, but if he comes around the top, he's got to actually road the sheep, or keep him there and road these two and go around the top. But even then, I still got a turn to reply. But yeah, I still want a spear. I want a spear for this city. What's Novice got? Novice has a lot. Silver, sheep, 2 rice, fish, cow, corn, copper. He's got a lot hooked up. Only got 4 cities. But then again, he's got henge. He's got oracle, so he's almost certainly he's almost certainly taking metal casting because he's industrious. He doesn't have to do anything to pop borders. In fact, he's built an aggressive barracks here just so that he can claim this banana. That I'm going to have difficulty claiming, to be totally honest, until I get, like, if he gets a library now, he'll basically hold that for the foreseeable future. But I've limited his expansion down here. So if he wants to go directly south as well, like, that's the fish that's improved. Yeah, that's the fish that's improved. So he's settled north, so he's actually more likely to only settle a little bit down here, and then I think he'll settle a little bit down there, and then more up here for horse, cow, gold. I know Pindicator's over here, so that gold might be a little bit far. Actually, that gold's almost certainly scooters anyway. But I reckon he'll expand up here towards Pindicator and that. because that's the only place he can expand. He can expand up there and still try and declare war on me and wage war, but he won't do that because he can't do both at the same time, I think. Also, don't trust scores. I might be at 295, but playing imperialistic, I got cities out earlier, so I've got more land points than anyone else. Land doesn't mean anything unless you're working it. Still need to meet him. How am I going to do that? 11%. So Pindicator is spreading his religion and using that to expand borders. Yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream now. Hopefully I'll still be using the stream in the future, but I'm going to try and do it significantly quicker. This stream's taken so long because I've tried to explain pretty much everything in the game, and also the game's been down since Friday because the server basically broke. So shout out to Caledon for actually being so, just for being kind enough for letting us play a game on one of his servers. Without him we wouldn't be able to play the game. So, and he's been really great in actually explaining when the server's down, why, and for how long, and with dealing with it, and being just a great host. So yeah, I'll just say thank you to Caledon for that. And I'm just trying to reacquaint myself with the game after that length of time, so because it's been played really fast to the extent that I've not even been able to think about what I needed to do and how I needed to do it. So spending time thinking about it and doing the stream is quite useful. I wonder. Yeah. Okay, end the stream. Hopefully I'll be streaming later on tomorrow afternoon for the next turn as well.